lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. My name is Becca and today we are doing a little March reset. I love the start of a new month and the fact that March is starting on a Sunday. I feel like that's just perfect. With the start of a new month, I think it's the perfect time to reflect on how the previous month went, set new goals and intentions for the upcoming month, and really just keep myself on track with the things that I said that I was going to do. So we're going to talk about my mental wellness goals, my money goals, and also my movement goals. So let's go ahead and start with my mindset goals or my mind goals. So for the month of March, we are going to continue our goal of breaking up with doom scrolling. And one of the things that has been really helpful for me is reading. So I am going to go ahead and pick my March read. In February, I read Never Lie, which this was my third book of the year and I enjoyed it. This was my second read from Frida McFadden. This month, I am wanting to read The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros, I believe. And I'm really excited. So this was a good read. It was nice and fast. And honestly, I could have had 2 reads down in February. I just simply didn't have another book ready. So for March, I am planning to have 2 books to read. So one, The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros, and then I'm currently on hold for The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, but if I am able to get that, then that will be my second book goal of the month. Obviously, spending more time reading and off my phone has been really big for me, so I definitely want to continue that for my mind in the month of March. The next mind goal that I have for the month of March is to continue my 1-hour low stimulation mornings, and I would like to spend this time doing anything besides being on my phone or on the screen. This also means that I'm waking up with enough time to have that hour before starting my workday. So really just adjusting the timing of things so that it works in my favor and I am able to wake up and have that slow 1 hour of non-stimulation. And then my last mind goal for the month of March is really just decreasing the amount of overwhelm that I feel on a day-to-day basis. So I'm in the stage where I am starting to limit the amount of responsibilities I have in a day. So you guys know that I am a content creator, I'm also a full-time therapist, and I also coach. These are all things that I absolutely enjoy and I can't imagine it any other way. However, in the month of March, I am wanting to significantly reduce the amount of hats that I have to wear in a day. So my only focus in the month of March is really just my full-time job, being a therapist, and then also just having one creative outlet. So just less things that I have to do and more things that I want to do throughout this entire month. And so just reducing the amount of load that I've been feeling over the last couple of months. And so this is really obviously going to help my mind a lot and just overall good for my mental wellness. So those are my top 3 or maybe 4. I don't remember how many there was, but those are my top mind goals for the month of March. And let's go ahead and get to our money goals. I've been loving consuming personal finance content on YouTube, TikTok over the last 2 years, and I've always thought about sprinkling some of this into my content because I talk a lot about mental wellness, and a big part of mental wellness is your finances. Finances can cause a lot of stress or a lot of load on someone's mental wellness, and so it only makes sense to include these to my channel, and I'm just gonna sprinkle them in here and there. So let's go ahead and get into my money goals for the month of March. The first thing that I would like to continue doing as a goal in the month of March is having my weekly money dates or my money routines. And so every Sunday I sit down and I review my budget. I have a spreadsheet that I use or a template that I use to organize my finances. And I love to sit down with this every Monday to track my expenses, to update any categories that I need to, or adjust any categories depending on how much I've spent. And this just gives me a really good control over my finances, and it just helps clear my mind, and I don't stress really about finances when I do this. I notice that when I don't do this, I don't have as much clarity, and so just by adding in my weekly money dates on Sundays in particular, this is really helpful. So today is Sunday, I'm going to sit down and do this as well so that I have a clear picture on what the week ahead looks like, the month ahead looks like, every week for the month of March. The next thing that I do in terms of my money goals is always make sure that I'm looking ahead at the month to see what expenses outside of the norm are coming up. So aside from my regular monthly bills, what is happening in the month of March that I need to plan and prepare for? I guess I can share a couple of them since we are already on the topic. Let me grab my phone so I can look at the calendar and then also kind of look at the dates and see what's coming up for me. Okay, so I am just going to pull up my March calendar. And so I'm gonna start with the first week of March. So the 1st through the 6th. I don't have anything major coming up for the first week of March, so I think that this should be a pretty straightforward week. I am having a little virtual wine night with my bestie this week, and that's not really anything that I have to plan to prep for because I don't really have to buy anything for that, and that is good to go. Speaking of bestie, her birthday is at the end of March, so that is something that I would add to my sinking funds for the month. Also in the month of March, I have a continued education event that I want to attend. So if you're not aware, as a therapist, you have to complete continuing education credits, which essentially is just a certain amount of continued learning that you have to do each year to renew your license and to just stay on track with the board. So there is one that I really want to attend that is perfectly aligned with my career and my specialty. So I'm definitely going to be saving up for that because it is a lot more CEU credits than normal. The fee is pretty fat and unfortunately my job is not paying for that. So that is something that I want to make sure that I account for within my sinking funds. Okay, so this one is not in March, but it's still something that I want to start preparing for in March. So I have a wedding that I'm going to in May, and because I want to have that filled by May, I want to start that in March. That is why it's part of my March money goals. Yeah, there's nothing else really that I need to take into account as far as that falls outside of my norm. Okay, so then my last money goal for the month of March is to reduce the amount of external spending when it comes to my food category. So to do this, I am limiting the amount of times that I order out. I have tried to significantly reduce the amount of DoorDash or Uber Eats or any of those food delivery services as much as possible, unless I am just like dead tired or there's a reason why I'm doing that. For the most part, I'm straying away from that, but my goal for the month of March is to limit that to 1 time per week. So if I want to go and get my Chick-fil-A, I am limiting that to 1 time per week. There's no reason to be going to Chick-fil-A 3-4 times a week. So that is all that we are saving for. Those are all of our sinking fund goals and our big events coming up in the month of March. I've already hit my emergency fund goal, so that is not something that I am contributing to anymore in the month of March, and I feel really good about that. So we're just focusing a little bit more on these smaller things that are coming up each week. So that leads us to our movement goals for the month of March. The first thing that I would like to do is take 2 heated Pilates classes. So I used to go every Saturday or at least once a week, but I'm just going to say that I want to do at least 2 times per week. I mean, sorry, not 2 times per week. I would like to do 2 times per month. So if I go this Saturday, then I won't go the next one, and then I'll go the 3rd Saturday. So it's like every other Saturday or at least twice a month. And then for the rest of my fitness goals, I want to go to the gym at least 2 times a week. I'm really trying not to be extreme in any category this month. I'm really just trying to slow it down, and so instead of trying to make myself go to the gym 3-4 times a week plus a heated Pilates class on the weekend, like I just want to go twice per week, whether I'm doing strength training or I'm just doing cardio, whatever I'm doing. I'm just giving myself a movement goal of going twice per week and then going 2 times per month to my heated Pilates classes. And I think this is going to be really like sustainable for me, and I'm looking forward to it. Again, March is kind of like prioritizing my mind, my money, my movement, but in a way that feels sustainable, in a way that doesn't like stress me out, and it's just more, I don't know, it just makes more sense for the stage of life that I'm in right now. And in April that will probably change, but that's just what we are at right now. That's just where we're at right now. And then my last movement goal, I've been toying with the idea of running a 5K. This is something that has found itself on like my goals for the year every year. So it was like on my list in 2024, it was on my list in 2025, and on my list in 2026 as well. But there's 2 5Ks that I am aware of coming up in March, and so I've been toying with the idea of it. I haven't started training or anything specifically for a 5K. I'm pretty sure that I can run 3 miles perfectly fine, like without training for it. So maybe that's just like me not being humble, but I feel like I can do it without training. But if I do decide to run the 5K, of course, I want to make sure that I'm getting in more cardio throughout my lifting each week. And so that's just something I'm toying with. We'll see if I do it. If I do, I'll come back and update you guys. But yeah, it's just been on my goal list for a couple years in a row now, and it's just not something that I prioritize, honestly. So now that I'm thinking about my movement goals, that might be something that I go ahead and just do in the month of March. We'll see. Okay, so those are my mind, money, and movement goals for the month of March. Nothing too crazy, honestly, just a simple reset to keep me on track throughout this month. I love a good reflection and I love a good goal setting session, and I was able to do both of those just to start my month off on the right note. And I'm really excited for the month of March. I think it's going to be good. I think I am pouring a lot of energy into me, and I'm being a little bit more selfish with my time, and I don't want to be split in multiple directions. I really just want to focus on self and yeah, just take my time to spend it on myself, honestly. And I think there are seasons for that. There are other seasons where you're going to be extending to others a lot, but in this season, in this month, I really just want to make sure that I am pouring into myself. If you have any mind, movement, or money goals for the month of March, feel free to let me know in the comments, any of the above, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.